Over the last 5 years, I've live streamed simulated F1 races to run alongside the actual F1 season. I thought it would be a fun idea to see how the actual season would compare to one that takes place entirely within the F1 video games. The 5 seasons I've ran have produced interesting results, with Sebastian Vettel clinching the 2019 and 2020 simulated titles with Ferrari, Max Verstappen taking the 2021 and 2022 championships, and Fernando Alonso taking the simulated crown last year after a three-way championship decider in Abu Dhabi. This year I figured I'd do something a little different. You may notice that this isn't being live streamed. I've decided to forego streaming these races in favour of producing an extended highlights video for each race, comprised of more engaging commentary from myself. These videos will be released on or before the actual race day, to kinda whet your appetite for the main event, and to see someone other than Verstappen winning probably. So with that being said, welcome to the first round of the simulated 2024 F1 World Championship from Sakhir in Bahrain. Before we get down to business however, I should explain the rules I have in place. So, with every event I run a full-length qualifying and race session, obviously, but due to the F1 games not having an option to have 20 AI cars run these sessions, I pick a random driver to race as for every event. Once a driver is picked, they are removed from the pool of drivers until I have raced as every driver once. Since the 2022 season, I have raced with equal performance cars, to allow more unpredictable results to occur, and this will remain the same for the 2024 season. Also remaining the same from last year will be the inclusion of 6 sprint races, to coincide with the sprint races on the actual calendar, with the first one being at China. As for my race settings, I have my AI difficulty set to 104, as that provides me with a challenge while still keeping me in contention. Weather is kept as dynamic, with the only change being having the forecast setting to approximate, to provide uncertainty. Rules are standard, with the probability of red flags being increased to hopefully provide more entertainment, and the simulation settings being quite standard across the board. With that out of the way, it's now time to find out who we will be racing as for the Bahrain GP. All 20 drivers have been added to this wheel here, which will pick out a random driver for us. So let's spin it and see who we get. And we end up with Sergio Perez in the Red Bull for our first race of 2024. Can we beat our near-on unstoppable teammate and immediately kill his dream of having a perfect season? Only one way to find out. It's time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. One thing I should mention as well is that I'm using the F1 23 game using an F1 24 mod that I downloaded from Race Department. The link for that will be in the description down below. So we're racing as Sergio Perez. This is Q1, heading to the end of Q1. I'm doing my one and only flying lap because I am quite risky like that, but it still pays off because I'm in P1 after Q1, which means obviously we make it into Q2, and we lost from Q1. Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, Daniel Ricciardo in the Cash Money team, Hulkenberg 18th in the Haas, Lance Stroll 19th, and Logan Sargent will bring up the rear for the race. Not many too big shocks here, but nonetheless we are on to Q2, once again doing my one and only quali lap. Cross the line there, we're doing pretty well, and we are in P1 once again. Very good stuff. We're into Q3 pretty easily. And we lost in Q2, Valtteri Bottas in the Kick Sauber. We lost both Ferraris of Leclerc and Sainz, who are 12th and 13th. That is the biggest shock of qualifying, by a mile. We also lost George Russell in the Mercedes as well. And also Oscar Piastri in the McLaren, who only starts 15th. Shocking stuff. Very shocking. So here we go, we move on to Q3. This is for pole position. Starting my lap here. We came P1 in Q1 and Q2. Hopefully we can complete the trifecta and get pole position. I mean, we are in a Red Bull, so it should be quite obvious that we'd be on pole, but it is equal performance cars, so who knows what could happen. I mean, we have Magnussen and Zhou in Q3. So, you know, and Albon as well. Anything can happen in this qualifying session. And Yeah, I'm setting some very good times through Sector 1 and Sector 2. But obviously that doesn't mean much if I don't hook up Sector 3. We're coming through the final corner now. Heading to the line. Will it be pole position? Will we be in P1 for Q3? The answer to that is... no.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Verstappen, Perez and Fernando Alonso. Goodbye for now then. We are really just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
I mean, could it have been anyone else? Of course it's Max Verstappen, who is on pole position, with us in P2 making it a Red Bull 1-2 at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Seems very realistic considering testing. Fernando Alonso in P3, Lewis Hamilton in P4, Yuki Tsunoda 5th in the RB. Very good stuff from him. Lando Norris 6th, Alexander Albon 7th, Gasly is 8th, Zhou Guanyu in 9th, and Kevin Magnussen in the Haas rounds up the top 10. And with qualifying done, it's time for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Originally, it was a race against time in 2004 to get Sakhir ready for its Grand Prix debut. It's been a fixture ever since. Welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix. We go racing today around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Norris, Albon, Gasly, Zhou, Magnussen, Bottas, Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Ocon, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Stroll and Logan Sargent. Now, it's almost time for Lights Out, so let's go down to the track. And we walk into the commentary box, Anthony Davidson, and great to see you once again. What's caught your eye so far this weekend? Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? I'm also looking forward to seeing the different strategies in play today. Those who are starting on the red mark soft tyre are going to have a little bit more grip early on, but they have to make it count before that degradation starts to set in.
Alrighty, here we go. So we are on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix starting in P2. Our strategy requires us to do 2 stops with a medium, soft running for this race. Usually IRL would probably only have 1 stop from mediums to hards, but this is the virtual world, and the virtual world is different from real life. The virtual world's better. So here we go for the formation lap. As you can see, most of the grid is going on mediums to start off with the exception of Sainz, Ocon, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg and Stroll, who are all starting on the soft C3. I wonder how it will pay off for them. We shall see within the next 20 minutes or so. As we're heading to the grid here, yes, I do have the broadcast setting on because I can't be bothered to do the formation lap myself. Yes, I'm lazy, but that's the way it is. And also, I feel like it's better for the video, so, you know, actually it probably isn't, but there we go. Parking up on the grid, we got 57 laps of the Bahrain GP. Just waiting for the rest of the grid to line up now. Logan Sargent lining up in 20th there. And here we go. 5 red lights on for the first race of the simulated 2024 F1 World Championship. And it's lights out and away we go. It's an alright start for us and for Verstappen as well. We got Alonso and Hamilton coming on the outside there. I dart to the outside to try and get alongside Verstappen. And it works going into turn 2. As I push down the inside and take the lead away from our teammate. Very good stuff. So now we got Sergio Perez leading the Bahrain Grand Prix with Max Verstappen in 2nd. Alonso still in 3rd with Hamilton in 4th. Norris making up a place up to 5th. Tsunoda losing a couple of places He's now down to 7th after the start. Other than that, seems very clean, very collected, no drama so far. Russell down in 16th, being passed by Ricciardo, I believe there. I think Ricciardo actually made up a couple of places, he's up to 15th. And Leclerc's also... Oh, Sainz has actually moved up ahead of Bottas from 12th to 11th. Very good stuff indeed. So yeah, we're holding on to the lead for now, but Verstappen obviously is Max Verstappen. He is unstoppable, even in the virtual world, and I'm sure he'll be very hungry to get the lead back. And he's actually closing in on us already as we speak, going into the final corner of the last lap. Remember, DRS isn't enabled until the 3rd lap, even though this year IRL it's after the 1st lap. On the 2nd lap the DRS gets activated, but we can't have that in the game. But here comes Max Verstappen, pulling out from the slipstream on the outside going into turn 1 of lap 2. He's going to try and take the lead back from us, but we break just a little bit later. And we keep the lead there. That will hopefully prevent the threat of Verstappen for at least another lap. We've got Magnussen and Sainz fighting in the background there, fighting for the last of the points places. As we move on to lap 3, the DRS is enabled. Doing a little bit of weaving to break the slipstream from Verstappen down the straight, which seems to work so far as we keep the lead going into turn 1 again. But moving on to lap 4, on the end of lap 3, Verstappen has gained on us again, and he's only a 10th and a half behind us. And we make a mistake coming out the last corner, which allows Verstappen to easily get alongside us going down the straight, and also he has DRS this time. So he moves to the outside, we cover the inside again. It worked before. We break a little bit later again, same as before, and we keep the lead. But Alonso now is sniffing an opportunity to take 2nd place away from Max Verstappen, and he'll have DRS as well. And Verstappen does not have DRS because he was in front at the detection point going into turn 1. So Alonso has DRS, Verstappen doesn't. Alonso goes down the inside. Will he make the move stick? He does not. Verstappen keeps the position. Very good from Max. Moving down the grid, we got Piastri here heading into turn 4, and he spins. Unfortunate for the Australian there, a clumsy mistake. Piastri in his 2nd season in Formula 1, still got some ropes to learn. Hopefully he can iron out the mistakes moving forward. As we move on to lap 5, we have actually broken away from the DRS, which means Verstappen is now vulnerable to Alonso once again. Alonso going around the outside into turn 1. Not the best place to be making a move, but hey, we made it work on the 1st lap. And Alonso doesn't make it work here, but he had the DRS again going into turn 4. Verstappen also has the DRS, but Alonso down the inside into turn 4. Can he make the move stick this time? He does not. Hamilton also sniffing an opportunity to take 2nd as well, as he's right behind the pair of them. He's right behind the pair of Verstappen and Alonso. And then moving on to the next lap, this battle is very heated and goes on for several laps. I will spoil that for you now. But Alonso on the outside, and he gets the move done this time before even hitting the corner. So Alonso is now up to P2 in the Aston Martin. And he has gained a little bit of distance from Verstappen as well, which means Verstappen cannot respond with the DRS. But a couple of laps later, Max, obviously, he's unstoppable, takes 2nd position back from Alonso on lap 8. And yeah, this battle is set to continue for quite a while. Definitely so. A bit further back, we got a battle for 4th brewing between the two Brits of Hamilton and Norris. Norris trying to take 4 from Hamilton down the inside of turn 1 in his McLaren. Doesn't make the move stick this time, but I'm sure that'll be a very heated battle as well as the battle for 2nd. Heck, Norris is trying again down into turn 4 to make the move on Hamilton, but Hamilton has a lot more experience under his belt. He knows what he's doing and manages to get more traction out of turn 4. Allowing him to keep 4th place, but Norris won't be done yet. As for the battles down the grid, oh my gosh, I can't talk. But as for the battles down the grid, we've got Russell, who's having a bit of a shocker, honestly. He's down in P19, and he's fighting a Haas for 18th place. This is definitely not where he expected to be going into the season, but it is what it is. He's fighting a Haas, and he's going side by side at the end of Sector 1, going through turns 5, 6, and 7. He's still side by side, Hulkenberg holding on, but Russell has the inside going into turn 8. And he makes the move stick for 18th place. But again, very disappointing for Russell so far. As for his teammate Hamilton, also a bit disappointing for him, as Norris does make the move stick going into turn 1 on lap 14, and Norris moves up to P4 in his McLaren. High hopes for McLaren this year. We'll see if Norris can live up to them, because Piastri certainly isn't right now, but hopefully the next few races Piastri can improve. As we move on to lap 16, we've got Verstappen back under our DRS, which means once again we have to weave to break his slipstream, but Verstappen has the DRS and he's got the speed going into turn 1. But once again we had the inside and we cover him off. This has definitely been our plan for the last few laps. You haven't seen them, but definitely is. But because of the lack of traction, Verstappen is now under threat from Alonso again. These two are still squabbling for P2. Alonso around the outside. We'll see whether he can make the move stick. He does not, because Verstappen is still on the inside. And like Hulkenberg and Russell, they are fighting side by side through turns 5, 6, and 7. Going into 8 now. Verstappen still has the inside, and because he has the inside, he should keep the position. But Alonso is still side by side going into turn 9 and 10, and like he did on Hamilton IRL last year, he sticks on the inside at turn 10, and we'll see whether he keeps the place, because I think Verstappen has DRS. And thanks to that DRS, Verstappen actually keeps the position. That was a very good battle, very well spec'd between two very experienced champions there. And then we move on to lap 17. Alonso, with the DRS again, heads down the inside of Verstappen and makes the move stick back into second place before they even hit turn 1. Very good stuff there from the Spaniard. The Aston Martin proving to be, well, I was going to say proving to be another decent car, but all the cars are equal, so it's just Alonso has the skill. He has the moves, even though he's like 42 years old at this point. Lap 19 now, we're coming in for our first pit stop. We're moving on to another set of medium tyres. We'll see how the pit stop goes. It's estimated to be 2.4, and it is indeed 2.4. As we are on a new set of medium tyres. They don't look new, but I guess that's the game doing weird things with the graphics. I swear with every update they break this game even more. They announced a new game the other day. I'm sure that somehow will be even more broken. And I'm pretty sure I killed any opportunity of Codemasters sending me an early copy. So, sorry. But anyway, we've come back out into 10th place. Our teammate, Max Verstappen, pits in on the following lap. We should be able to stay in front. But while all that is happening, we have Logan Sargent here, who becomes the first retirement of the 2024 season. He was down in 18th, so not really much of a loss for him, but it is a shame that his first Grand Prix of his second season in F1 ends on lap 21. Moving on to lap 24, we got some cars in front of us that have not pitted yet, but we caught up to them, so we've got to make the moves stick on track. We're overtaking Kevin Magnussen here in a Haas, pretty easy job. Going into turn 4, we're up to P5. We still got Tsunoda, Albon, I think Gasly as well as in second. We got Tsunoda in the Barclaycard cash money team there on the left. We move past him easily going into turn 1 on lap 25 for P4. And of course we've got 2 DRS zones right, one right after the other, so we get DRS going into turn 4. We're sticking around the outside here. We're going to brake a little bit later, go around the outside of Albon, and we move up into P3. And then obviously we've got Gasly up ahead as well, who we're going to try and move down into turn 10. We're going to replicate Alonso, dive to the inside, and there we go. We're past the naked Alpine car for P2. After we make the move stick, we see this nice battle here with Albon and Gasly for P3. Obviously, they still need to pit. I think they are doing a one-stop strategy, considering how long they've stayed on the mediums. They'll probably switch straight to hards, and we'll see how it works out for them. But Albon makes the move going into turn 1, but Gasly is not defeated as of yet. He gets to the inside, going into turn 4. And Gasly makes the move stick, and he's back up to P3, with Tsunoda sniffing around with a chance for a potential podium for him as well, maybe, if the strategy works out for him. We move on to lap 28, going to lap 29. Alonso pits in for his one and only stop. He is doing a one-stop, but that puts us back in the lead. So, Alonso going onto the hards, he doesn't need to stop again. We do, so we need to push, and push we do. We are 7.3 seconds ahead of Verstappen after the first lot of pit stops is said and done, which means we have definitely gained from the set of pit stops. I'm sorry. And Alonso is currently down in P11, but I'm pretty sure all the cars in front of him need to pit again, so that's good. Also, we have Alonso here passing Zhou Guanyu in the Stake F1 team car, very neon green. I actually quite like it. It's very vibrant. Of course, I don't really expect much from them IRL, but in the virtual world, Zhou is holding his own against Alonso, going down the main straight, but Alonso being on the inside, going into turn 1, he brakes a little bit later on the fresher tyres, and that is the move done. A very well done move there by Alonso on the Stake car. Moving on to lap 39 now, going on to lap 40, we are going to make our second and final pit stop. We are going onto the soft tyres, which means we'll be pretty quick going into the last section of the race. Another 2.4 stop, but I accidentally released the clutch a little bit too early, which means I stayed in the box for about another half second to a second there. Cost us a bit of time, very unfortunate. And because of that, I believe I come out just behind the stake car of Zhou Guanyu there. So yeah, I've been passed by Zhou, nearly get passed by Gasly in the Alpine as well, but I managed to hold off Gasly and Tsunoda, them two battling out for P7 there. So we come back out in P6, but we are on much fresher tyres. We make a bunch of moves to get back up to P2. We set the fastest lap there with our soft tyres, a 1:30.656, and because of our fresher tyres, we easily move up on Alonso. We decide to hold off from overtaking him into the last corner, so we get DRS. And moving into lap 44, this should be a very well done move from us. Should be very easy with DRS, but because of our setup, our straight line speed is not very good. But that's okay, even with that, we still make the move going into turn 1. We're back into the net lead of the race, and we're ready to check out, honestly, because Alonso is not on fresher tyres, Verstappen is quite a distance away from us, Tsunoda and Gasly don't need to pit either, they're also on older tyres, so we're ready to check out our front. But, as you know in Formula 1, nothing is ever that simple. As we see Albon with an engine blowout, that is the second Williams to retire from this race. Williams having a double DNF on the first race of the season. The worst possible start for them, especially considering Albon was looking good for some points. Would have been a very good start of the year if Albon had got those points. And I thought, okay, there's nothing happening, nothing good. Nothing's going to interrupt the race. But all of a sudden, safety car is out. And I didn't see it pop up there, but someone else had retired. And there's a red flag as well. A red flag, which kind of ruins our mojo a little bit. And the reason for the red flag is because Max Verstappen also retiring from the race. The Red Bull, the defending champion IRL, not the simulated season, but the defending champion IRL is out of the Bahrain GP as well. We had 2 retirements on track, which led to the race stewards calling out a red flag, which decimates our lead and pretty much puts everyone on equal footing going into the last few laps of this race. The game suggested I put hard tyres on, which I thought was crazy. I switched to soft tyres. They're used, but I'm sure everyone else has used soft tyres as well. So yeah, we're going to move on to the last part of the race. We're starting on lap 49. We're starting in P1, Alonso in P2. It's lights out and away we go for a second time at the Bahrain GP. We did get a good start. Alonso not getting the greatest of starts, but he holds the inside going into turn 1. We got Tsunoda in the RB car looking feisty there in P3. Thought he was going to take P2 there for a second. He nearly does there in turn 3. But Alonso holds on. But we managed to get a good start, and I figured we should probably try to break the DRS before it gets activated. So I'm driving like hell, using my ERS, using everything I can to potentially get in front of Alonso. But remember, everyone's now on soft tyres. And unfortunately for me, I did not break the DRS before it gets activated, so I got Alonso right behind me, who is sizing up a move into turn 1, and he has a lot more straight line speed than I do, so I got to brake very late into turn 1, doing the same thing as I did with Max Verstappen earlier. I keep P1, Alonso in P2, Tsunoda in P3, and Norris sniffing around in P4 as well.
Okay, some information on Norris. They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be...
Never mind, Norris has a problem with his car. So I don't think he's sniffing around for P3 anymore. In fact, he's already lost P4 to Gasly. As we head into lap 53, I'm trying to break the slipstream from Alonso, but Alonso has way too much straight line speed, and he makes the move done before going into turn 1. But I decide to go a little bit crazy and go very late on the brakes. I trust my car to stop, and it did, and I managed to regain P1 from Alonso through probably a move that that was never going to be on, but I made it work anyway. And here we are in lap 54. I see Alonso coming in to try and overtake me, and I decide, in a little bit of a genius move, I will admit, to slow down before the DRS detection point, so I get DRS going into turn 1. And obviously that's going to pay off. I have more straight line speed going into turn 1. And we are back in P1 going into lap 55. As you can see, Norris is no longer in the top 5. Magnussen now in the top 5. A very good showing from him in the Haas. But at the moment we've got a podium of Perez, Alonso and Tsunoda. That's a very interesting podium. As we move on to the final lap of the race, if Alonso wants to win this race, he has to make the move done now. I go down the inside into turn 1. I cover him off, but because I cover him off, Tsunoda's having a look now, potentially, and moving from P3 to P2. I mean, P3 or P2 would be an amazing result for Tsunoda. It would be his first podium in Formula 1. He tries around the outside into turn 4, but Alonso has him covered off. So Tsunoda backs off. There's still another DRS zone before the end, though. So he might have another shot going into turn 11. As for us, we get a bit of a gap, but we are running out of battery, which gives Alonso a bit of a sniff. He's still within DRS range, so we have DRS going into this straight here. We go down past turn 10. He has DRS. He closes up on us, but obviously he's a little bit far back for now. But there's still 2 more long straights before the end of this race, and as we've seen, our car does not have great straight line speed. As you can see on the leaderboard there, Norris is down to P10 and is very much at risk of losing any points from McLaren, in fact, because of his problem. As we see Alonso slipstreaming us, can he make a daring move in the last corner to take the win? No, he does not. He does not make the move. So we hold off Alonso going down the final straight now. It's going to be Sergio Perez who wins the Bahrain GP.
Smiling faces on the pit wall then after that superb win here at Sakhir, and rightly so. A brilliant effort from the whole team. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So there we go. Race 1 of 24 done of the simulated 2024 season, and it's Sergio Perez who takes the first scalp in 2024 with Max Verstappen not even finishing the race. It's going to be a bit of an uphill battle for him, but I'm sure he'll be fine. And yeah, we got a very interesting podium of Perez, Alonso, and Tsunoda. Tsunoda doing a very good job in the Cash Money car to get a podium for RB in their technically first race as with their new name. Very good stuff. So after 57 laps, we've got Sergio Perez, who wins and takes the fastest lap, so he gets maximum points. Fernando Alonso P2, Tsunoda P3, Gasly P4 in the Alpine, not a bad day for them. Kevin Magnussen in 5th, good day for Haas. Hamilton 6th, Sainz and Leclerc 7th and 8th. Both Ferraris make it into the points after a disappointing qualifying. Ocon from 16th to 9th had a good race as well. And then Lando Norris just holds on to P10, even with his issue to take at least 1 point from McLaren. And then we got Nico Hulkenberg in 11th, Daniel Ricciardo in 12th, Zhou Guanyu in 13th, Piastri 14th after his spin, Bottas 15th, Stroll is 16th, and George Russell is the last of the classified finishers in P17. And we had 3 retirements, which were Max Verstappen and both the Williams of Alexander Albon and Logan Sargent. And that is that. That is the first race of 2024 done. Obviously, I'm going to be doing all the rest throughout the season. The next race will be in Saudi Arabia in a week's time around Jeddah. So I'll get a video ready for that one, obviously. And then as for the standings, obviously the standings are going to be the same as... Well, the driver's standings are going to be the same as what you see here, with Perez taking the first scalp and then is now leading the Drivers' Championship from Alonso and Tsunoda, with Verstappen all the way down in 18th for now. So we'll see how that goes for him. For Constructors, we got Red Bull leading the way, Aston Martin in 2nd, and then we have RB in 3rd, Alpine in 4th. Very good stuff for them. And then we got Haas in 5th with Magnussen's 5th place, helping out very well there. We have Ferrari on the same amount of points as Haas, but obviously with Magnussen taking the 5th place, Haas are ahead. Mercedes in 7th with 8 points from Hamilton, and then McLaren in P8 with a solitary point from Norris. Kick Sauber in 9th with 0 points, and then Williams down in last because of both their cars retiring from the race. And with that, that is the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Thank you very much for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you very much. This is definitely a new type of video for me, and I was very nervous going into it, and I hope everyone likes it. And yes, as I said, we'll be back in a week's time doing the Saudi Arabian GP. So hopefully you watch that one too. And for now, see you next time.